China hoarding as gold hits new all-time highs. Is it going to go to 20,000? Some predictions. Hello, this is Chart GPT today. There's been a lot of stories out here about China hoarding in the news. And before we get into that, let's take a look at a little bit of background about gold. As central bank demand has gone from strength to strength, you can see it's been rising. Of course, that lower bar on the 2023, it's not a full year yet, so we don't know what the outcome is there. But if you look at central banks over the last 30 years, they went from net sellers to net buyers. So you can see the trend. So they know that inflation was coming, right? So they're trying to hedge against this. Here's the gold holdings by country. Still the U.S. is the largest gold holder. Germany, the IMF, Italy, France, and China's down there, but it's still pretty low compared to the rest of the world. So they're trying to make up for time, I guess. Here's the actual gold reserve. You can see it's been steadily rising here up to 60 million troy ounces or something like that. So it's going up pretty high there. More recently, the gold market has been dominated by the Chinese, so that's got a lot of people talking about gold, and people kind of got into it and kind of hit new highs there. We'll see that in the chart here shortly. But overall, gold has not been a good investment. It has way underperformed stocks as an inflation hedge or an investment. And so hence a lot of time people are pushing the gold. Yeah, it's really an offset for geopolitical risk, not so much for inflation. Obviously, if money systems go down, gold is where you want to be. But unless you think we're into that situation, you won't see gold spike. However, that being said, you look at the amount of gold being traded. If one day the people with paper decided, I want gold and I don't want the paper, they couldn't make delivery, and you could see what we call a short squeeze. Now, we asked the AI about how far can a short squeeze go in the past, and it says it can get as high as 1,000%. We forced the AI to come up with a percentage number. It could be less than that, obviously, or even more. But to give you an idea, but here's an idea of what happened in one of the kind of a famous Volkswagen short squeeze. I don't know if you remember back in the early 20,000s there. Remember when Volkswagen had a short squeeze and it went up almost 500,000% in a very short period of time, wiped a lot of people out. A lot of they're still trying to unwind all that. So very interesting thing what happened there. So that could happen with those people holding paper want the real stuff. So here's our prediction here. We broke this kind of 1, 2, 3 pounding on the ceiling. There's no such thing as a triple top, and we busted through. Kind of came back sharply though. And generally you measure the wedge, and that's about how high it could go. So we could hit 2,600 probably in the next 6 to 12 months. That's a pretty kind of a modest target. Could go higher. But there's a chance that the central banks will try to keep it down. They don't want gold to get out of hand. People panic. And there's even a 10% risk that you get this short squeeze that we've been talking about, like the Volkswagen short squeeze. If all of a sudden geopolitical risk becomes really bad and people want the gold and not the paper, that's always a risk. There's a 10% risk that one day you wake up one day and gold could be up $5,000, $10,000. Who knows? Anyway, give us your take on the polling. Where do you think gold will go in the next 6 to 18, 24 months? Higher, lower, flat, or significantly higher? Don't forget to subscribe.